Hey everybody, and welcome back to Firefall History. This patch isn't quite as exciting as the big content patch we just had with launch, but every big content patch does need to be followed up with a balance patch. And that's what this latest patch is. Starting things right off here, we've got boosts from VIP now stacked with Founders bonuses and other bonuses, which is nice. It's long overdue. I'm glad to see it. The P1 LGV has been buffed slightly. It should shift past first gear now. And the MGV handling has been adjusted as well to feel more like an off-road vehicle instead of just a giant plank with 4 wheels on it. And they also added a horn to it. Using melee will now kill your stealth if you're a recon, or I guess anyone who can have stealth if they've got a recon friend. This was done to balance PvP a little bit because someone could sneak up and Sin Blade an entire squad in PvP, and that's not much fun going up against that. Deployables have also been buffed slightly. Battle frame perks. Lots have been changed and adjusted, some have been fixed. Tactician has been completely reworked. Tactician now grants a 20% chance to reset your ability cooldowns when you inflict a headshot. And this perk now has a 1-minute cooldown. Conduit has also been reworked. It's been updated to give a visual cue on how charged it is. With the charge rifle, it works slightly differently. When firing with 3 charges, it drains all 3 and causes the shot to explode on impact. And with the R36, the charge builds, but it does not decrease, and at max charge, the R36 does energy damage as well. Abilities. Healing Ball has been updated. It is now a little bit slower and does less damage around the edges. However, this does not affect healing. Healing is 100% as long as you hit it. It also does knockback and applies a percentage of any healing done to the dragonfly that fired it. Healing Pillar has the same effect of applying healing to the dragonfly, and it now heals a small amount before the pad triggers. This is nice. Hopefully you won't die waiting on the pad to go off, as has happened to me several times. Kinetic Shot has been updated. It now has its own base damage rather than relying on the damage of the primary, so you can't unfortunately get a stronger kinetic shot anymore just by getting a better primary. And it now fires immediately instead of the classic load and shoot. They are going this direction with all former load and shoot abilities, and I have to say, I'm really not a fan. I mean, it worked with Trailblaze, but Missile Shot and Kinetic Shot, both of those abilities I like to load before I line up my target, and I like to line up my target and fire my weapon as if I were firing my weapon. I hope that makes sense, but I'm really not a fan of this change just because if you're loading a bullet into your weapon, it should fire like your regular weapon. That's just my opinion on it. The charged rifle has been updated, and as well as overload. Base charge speed has been reverted to 2.5 seconds, and the charge rifle has been buffed from the hip. Hopefully you should be able to be effective with a Raptor outside of scoped mode in close combat. This was a huge problem. I'm not a big Nighthawk fan. I do prefer Raptor, but going solo was very difficult before. Overload now chains to enemies rather than direct AoE. I think that this should have more or less the same effect as long as you hit enemies. I think what this means is that now it just doesn't shoot big balls of death that can hit anywhere near enemies and explode and do damage. As far as open world stuff, the battle cruiser in Devil's Tusk has finally been christened the UAS Vanguard. And spawn points have been added at FOB Sagan and Tecumseh Air Base. This solves a lot of problems for me because I couldn't figure out why I wasn't respawning there. And strike team frequency has been increased in all zones. Baneclaw has been fixed to be more like Kanaloa and a little bit more like I think they were wanting with the raid instances. You no longer get respawns in the Baneclaw raid. Baneclaw can no longer damage himself with his own attacks, which that's definitely a bug. And the raid will now reset properly after a platoon wipe. This is probably due to no more respawns in the Baneclaw raid. For Kanaloa, Kanaloa has received Searing Fire Whips as new minions. I haven't gotten a chance to play this yet, but it sounds more or less like Exploding Arana. In the campaign, Hardcore mode in Blackwater has been re-enabled. For Crashdown, respawns have been disabled on hard mode, and there are a lot of general difficulty tweaks for the hardcore mode and a few loot drop tweaks. Crystite costs for crafting have been lowered, as well as rare refining and salvage materials are gone. You can refine the ones that you already have into the base resources, and I have to say thank God. I was looking at trying to craft some purple level 40 items, and it was going to take me downright ages as someone who never really concentrates on resource collection. I was going to be waiting a very, very long time for some purple items. Hybrid materials costs have also been reduced. The cost to refine hybrids has been removed completely, so that's nice to see. Crafting leads right into thumpers. Squad mates who don't participate enough in the thump will now receive only 10% of the total rewards. That threshold, however, the participation threshold, has been lowered to be feasible for lower level players running with a high level squad. Resource veins have also been shrunk significantly. This is due to the fact that thumpers are significantly smaller now, or resource chunks are bigger, whichever way you want to look at it. They're now only 2,000 units instead of the previous 6,000. And vein size has been reduced, and density has been reduced as well to prevent overlapping. I guess that was causing issues. I really hope this doesn't lead to large patches of nothing but dirt with really tiny resource veins, especially in Broken Peninsula, where you already have such a short range on thumpers. Anyway, leading into glider pads, the Dusk, Sunrise, and Sunset gliders now have the Lofty attribute given to them. This causes you to jump higher when you first step onto the pad, and the Topaz, Emerald, and Royal glider pads now have the Quickened attribute, which lowers the cooldown for all of your glider pads. These effects, again, do stack, so if you have multiple of any of those pads, then you will get an enhanced effect on the attribute. It'll be exciting to see how that works, because I do have both the Dusk and Sunset glider pad, or Sunrise glider pad, excuse me. Anyway, that about does it for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments in the section below. And don't forget to tune in soon for the updated Let's Play. I did feel it was appropriate to redo the Let's Play for Firefall, just because so much has changed as far as progression, and Ares jobs were not in when I first did the Let's Play. The new user experience is also a little bit different. And all this stuff put together, I really think that the old Let's Play is no longer accurate enough. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.